Welcome to the most exciting coin discovery of your life. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and ultra-rare bicentennial coins, an ordinary-looking coin with the power to make you a millionaire overnight. If you've got this hidden gem in your pocket, your entire future could change in an instant. Let's unlock the secrets behind this legendary piece of treasure. First up, in the world of Australian decimal coinage. Few pieces ignite curiosity like the 1976 Australian 2-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. At first glance, it appears like any ordinary bronze coin resting at the bottom of a drawer. But among collectors, this tiny coin carries a whispered legacy. It represents a shift in Australian currency history, an era when the nation embraced modern designs while honoring traditional values. And because of that, this coin often sparks dreams, debates, and a rush of speculation among passionate collectors. The coin bears the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, paired with the timeless frilled neck lizard reverse that defines Australia's early decimal bronze series. Although billions of 2-cent coins were produced, the mid-1970s coins stand out because the minting numbers began to tighten and circulation patterns became unpredictable. The 1976 issue in particular saw heavy use in daily transactions, causing pristine examples to grow increasingly uncommon over the decades. While social media myths often exaggerate its value into the millions, the truth is more grounded and much more interesting. The coin's real worth lies not in fantasy price tags, but in the combination of condition, rarity in high grades, and collector demand. Most circulated 1976 2-cent coins are worth only a small premium. But those few survivors that remain in mint-state perfection, with gleaming copper brilliance untouched by time, can attract surprisingly competitive bids from dedicated numismatists. What truly elevates this coin is its role in the broader story of Australian currency. The Australian 2-cent piece was part of the first generation of decimal coins, introduced only a decade earlier. As the country shifted from pounds and shillings to cents and dollars, these small bronze pieces became cultural markers, tokens of a monumental economic transformation. Coins from the mid-70s preserve memories of that era, creating strong emotional and historical appeal. Collectors hunt the 1976 issue because high-quality examples have become increasingly scarce. Most circulated heavily, accumulating scratches, dents, discoloration, and environmental damage. But a coin that survived untouched, perhaps sealed away in a proof set, stored carefully by an investor, or forgotten in an old collection, can rise dramatically in value. The rarer the grade, the louder the excitement, especially when a coin earns certification from a top grading service. In exceptional condition, some examples can reach hundreds of dollars, and in rare cases more, especially if they display special qualities such as flawless luster, sharp strike, or unusual production marks. These elite specimens are the ones that collectors compete fiercely for because they elevate a common issue into a prestige piece. While not billionaire-making, the right coin can absolutely deliver a surprisingly strong return for those lucky enough to possess one. The coin's investment potential continues to grow as the market for discontinued Australian denominations strengthens. When Australia withdrew 1-cent and 2-cent coins from circulation in the 1990s, interest surged. New generations of collectors began chasing the best examples of the old bronze icons. As supply tightens, especially in high grades, the value trajectory for exceptional 1976 coins has steadily climbed. It's a perfect storm of nostalgia, scarcity, and collector passion. So if you own a 1976 Australian 2-cent coin, treat it with respect. Examine its condition carefully. Protect it from further wear. And if it looks unusually well preserved, consider having it professionally graded. While it may not make you a billionaire overnight, it absolutely carries the potential to surprise you, perhaps far more than you'd ever expect from such a small, humble piece of bronze. In the world of coin collecting, sometimes the tiniest treasures bring the biggest rewards. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1976 Australian 2-cent coin is the way it bridges everyday life and numismatic prestige. For decades it passed through countless hands, buying sweets, settling small debts, living in pockets, purses, and change jars. Yet today, the very same coin that once felt ordinary has transformed into an object of meticulous inspection. Collectors study its surfaces under magnifiers, searching for hidden brilliance, subtle dye varieties, and microscopic details that can elevate its status. This transformation from common currency to prized artifact is part of what makes coin collecting so magical. Another factor that keeps the 1976 2-cent coin in the spotlight is the growing fascination with withdrawn denominations. Since 1 cent and 2 cent coins no longer circulate in Australia, every existing specimen becomes a preserved relic. The population of high-quality pieces can only shrink with time. Each year, more coins suffer corrosion, get lost, or end up in scrap metal, making survivors in perfect or near-perfect state increasingly desirable. This natural scarcity fuels a steady rise in demand, especially among collectors building complete decimal-era sets. There is also a rising interest in error coins, and while major 1976 2-cent errors are not extremely common, even minor striking anomalies can ignite competition. Off-center strikes, partial brockages, clip planchets, or die cracks can multiply the value dramatically. These minting quirks turn an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible. For some enthusiasts, hunting for these rare mistakes is even more thrilling than chasing high-grade examples, because each error coin tells a story of how the minting process briefly slipped from perfection. Investors are also rediscovering the appeal of bronze coins in general. Unlike modern plated steel coins, the old copper-based denominations carry a warm, rich appearance that ages gracefully. The natural toning that develops over decades, ranging from deep chocolate brown to fiery red, adds character and uniqueness to every coin. A well-toned 1976 piece with smooth, untouched surfaces can command strong interest. As more people move into numismatics for alternative investments, coins like this become ever more attractive. Ultimately, the 1976 Australian 2-cent coin is a perfect example of how small treasures can hold unexpectedly large stories. It embodies the history of a nation transitioning into a modern monetary era, the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and the craftsmanship of Australia's minting tradition. Whether kept for personal memories or collected for financial potential, this coin proves one thing. Value isn't always measured in millions. It's measured in heritage, rarity, and the passion it inspires in those who understand its true importance. When a simple coin carries second in the vast universe of Australian decimal coinage, the 1977 Australian 2-cent coin has become a symbol of mystery, fascination, and unstoppable collector curiosity. Marking the bicentennial era of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, this small bronze coin carries the echoes of an Australia reshaping its future. Though it appears modest in size, collectors know that history often hides its greatest stories in the smallest of objects, and this coin is no exception. The obverse proudly displays the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, capturing a monarch at the height of her global influence. On the reverse, the iconic frilled neck lizard spreads across the bronze surface, a uniquely Australian emblem that defines the nation's early decimal identity. These design elements are more than artwork, they are cultural signatures. They turn a common coin into a miniature piece of national heritage. Many people online exaggerate the value of the 1977 2-cent coin, claiming it is worth millions or capable of turning someone into an overnight billionaire. The truth is more grounded, yet still extremely captivating. While it won't fund a private island, the finest surviving high-grade examples of the 1977 issue can spark fierce bidding among serious collectors. Its value emerges not from fantasy, but from the undeniable scarcity of pristine specimens in today's market. You see, most 1977 2-cent coins lived a rough life, passed through pockets, dropped on sidewalks, stuffed in jars, and forgotten in drawers. This constant circulation led to heavy wear, scratches, discoloration, and dents. Finding a coin from this year with original fiery red copper luster, razor-sharp detail, and untouched surfaces is like discovering a time capsule. These are the coins that attract attention, admiration, and very real financial value. Collectors are especially drawn to the 1977 coin because it belongs to the final era of the bronze 1 and 2 cent coins, which were eventually phased out in the 1990s. Every decade that passes makes untouched examples harder to find. As damaged coins are lost, scrapped, or corroded, the surviving premium-grade pieces grow rarer, and rarity is the fuel that powers the entire numismatic market. What truly sets this coin apart is the potential for mint errors, which transform an ordinary issue into a high-demand collectible. A mi-strike, off-center strike, clipped planchet, die crack, or double rim effect can boost the value dramatically. Error coins are the hidden jackpots of the coin world, not because they are worth millions, but because each one is completely unique, carrying the fingerprint of a minting moment that cannot be repeated. Investors are increasingly turning to early decimal bronze coins as long-term collectibles. Their natural copper, tunning, historical place in Australia's transition to modern currency, and disappearance from circulation make them attractive assets. A premium example of the 1977 2-cent coin, especially one professionally graded, can deliver surprising profits down the line. It's not about sudden overnight wealth. It's about smart collecting, patience, and understanding what makes a coin truly valuable. So if you happen to own a 1977 Australian 2-cent coin, don't dismiss it. Look closely. Examine its condition carefully. If it shines with original brilliance, or if it shows signs of an unusual minting feature, you might be holding something more meaningful than you ever expected. This coin may not guarantee unimaginable wealth, but it absolutely holds the power to reward, surprise, and enrich those who recognize its true importance. In the world of numismatics, greatness often begins with a single small coin, and the 1977 2-cent is proof of that. One detail that adds allure to the 1977 Australian 2-cent coin is the way time has interacted with its bronze surface. Copper-based coins naturally develop deep, rich tones, shades of chocolate brown, golden red, or even a smoky antique hue. This aging process is unpredictable, making every coin visually unique. Collectors adore these natural tones, especially when they develop evenly across the surface. A beautifully aged 1977 coin can draw admiration not just for its rarity, but for its aesthetic charm, turning an everyday object into a miniature work of art. Another enchanting element is the coin's connection to the daily lives of Australians in the 1970s. This was a decade of evolving identity, modernizing cities, expanding industries, and rapid cultural change. The humble 2-cent coin was part of that everyday experience. It jingled in pockets at schoolyards, bought snacks at corner shops, and passed through the hands of workers, families, travelers, and children. Holding one today is like holding a fragment of Australia's living memory, a small bronze witness to millions of personal stories. The global numismatic community has also been paying increasing attention to Australian decimal coins, especially those from the early years of the system. Enthusiasts from Europe, Asia, and North America seek out high-grade specimens of the 1977 2-cent coin as part of their world coin collections. This international demand adds another layer of strength to the coin's long-term value. When a piece appeals far beyond the borders of its home country, it becomes more than a national treasure. It becomes a global collectible. Then there is the undeniable emotional thrill of discovering a rare piece among what looks like ordinary pocket change. Many collectors can recall the moment they found an unusually sharp 1977 2-cent coin in an old jar, a forgotten wallet, or a family box of keepsakes. The heart beats faster, the curiosity expands, and suddenly the world of coins feels alive with possibility. This emotional rush is one of the greatest rewards of numismatics, a feeling that no amount of money can replace. In the end, the 1977 Australian 2-cent coin represents something deeper than monetary value. It stands at the crossroads of history, artistry, memory, and discovery. It shows how a small, simple object can carry decades of meaning across generations. Whether your coin is a circulated survivor with the marks of life or a sparkling, untouched gem deserving of a protective case, it holds significance as part of Australia's numismatic legacy. For collectors, investors, and dreamers alike, the journey this coin offers is priceless. Third in the vast world of Australian decimal coinage, the 1978 Australian 2-cent coin stands as a quiet legend, small in size yet wrapped in layers of history, mystery, and collector fascination. Even though millions were minted for everyday use, the 1978 issue has become a point of intense curiosity among numismatists. It marks a time when Australia was refining its modern identity, yet still holding tightly to foundational traditions. This humble coin captures that tension perfectly, making it far more than just a piece of bronze. It's a preserved moment in time. The obverse proudly displays the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, symbolizing stability and continuity during a decade of global change. On the reverse, the iconic frilled neck lizard spreads across the copper surface, showcasing Australia's wildlife, culture, and artistic identity. These design elements, when combined, turn the 1978 2-cent coin into a miniature piece of national expression, one that collectors admire for its simplicity, beauty, and undeniable character. Many dramatic claims circulate online, stories of the 1978 coin being worth millions, capable of making someone a billionaire overnight. These exaggerated tales often overshadow the coin's true, realistic value. While it won't transform anyone into an overnight tycoon, exceptional pieces can fetch competitive prices in the collector market. What truly matters is condition, rarity in top grades, and specific minting features that turn ordinary bronze into a prized collectible. The reality is that most 1978 coins lived hard lives. They rattled in pockets, slid across counters, and endured the wear and tear of decades of circulation. As a result, most surviving examples show scratches, dullness, nicks, and environmental damage. But once in a while, a coin emerges that seems untouched by time, glowing with original red copper shine, sharp details, and mirror-smooth surfaces. These rare survivors are the ones collectors chase, admire, and pay a premium for. The 1978 issue also sits within the final era of Australia's copper-based 1 and 2 cent coins. When these denominations were officially withdrawn from circulation in the early 1990s, they entered a new stage of existence, relics of a different monetary era. As the years pass, the number of high-quality 1978 coins continues to shrink, making pristine examples more desirable. It's this slow, natural reduction in supply that quietly boosts the coin's long-term potential. Collectors are particularly captivated by error coins, and the 1978 2-cent is no exception. A clipped planchet, an off-center strike, a double rim impression, or a dramatic die crack can turn an average coin into a unique, high-value piece. Error coins are prized not for fantasy price tags, but because they represent rare minting accidents frozen in bronze. Each one tells a story of the exact moment a machine misaligned or malfunctioned, and how that rare moment created a one-of-a-kind treasure. Investors also see opportunity in early decimal bronze coins. With copper's natural aging qualities, each coin develops its own color personality: deep brown, fiery red, golden orange, or even multitone patina. When combined with rarity and historical placement, the 1978 2-cent coin becomes an appealing choice for both collectors building complete series sets and investors seeking long-term, stable numismatic assets. A high-grade, certified example can absolutely hold strong market value. So if you own a 1978 Australian 2-cent coin, don't rush to spend it or ignore it. Examine it carefully. Look for luster, sharp edges, clean fields, and any unusual minting quirks. You may not be holding the key to billionaire status, but you could be holding a surprisingly valuable piece of Australian history, one that rewards patience, knowledge, and appreciation. In the world of coins, greatness often hides in plain sight, and the 1978 2-cent is a perfect example of how small treasures can carry big stories. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1978 Australian 2-cent coin is the way it represents a disappearing world of bronze currency. Modern coins, with their plated steel and industrial uniformity, lack the soul and warmth of the older copper-based pieces. Bronze ages like a living material. It breathes, it darkens, it develops scars and stories. The 1978 coin carries this evolution beautifully. Every mark, every shade, every tone becomes a part of its identity. Collectors don't just hunt these coins. They study them like historians, reading their surfaces as if they were pages in a forgotten book. The year 1978 also stands at a fascinating point in the timeline of Australia's numismatic development. The country was settling into its decimal system, yet still exploring the artistic and cultural meaning of its currency. The 2-cent coin, with its frilled neck lizard, served as an ambassador of Australian nature to the world. Today, owning a 1978 piece is like holding a snapshot of Australia's artistic expression during the late 20th century. It's not merely currency, it's cultural storytelling frozen in metal. Another compelling factor that draws attention to this coin is the emotional thrill of discovery. Many collectors share stories of finding a bright, almost uncirculated 1978 piece inside an old childhood piggy bank or tucked into a forgotten envelope of saved change. That moment, when an ordinary object suddenly appears extraordinary, is what fuels the passion of numismatics. The excitement doesn't come from guaranteed riches, but from the possibility that the next coin in your hand might be a hidden gem. And the 1978 2-cent often becomes that unexpected surprise. The global shift toward vintage collectibles has further elevated coins like the 1978 issue. As people around the world look for tangible items with history, authenticity, and emotional value, early decimal coins rise in popularity. They lack the artificial mass-produced feel of modern objects, offering instead a sense of age, weight, and meaning. The 1978 2-cent coin sits perfectly in this sweet spot, old enough to carry nostalgia, yet modern enough to remain accessible to new collectors entering the hobby. Ultimately, the 1978 Australian 2-cent coin embodies a rare blend of charm, history, and potential. Its growing desirability among collectors ensures that high-grade pieces will continue to appreciate in value. And while it may not create billionaires overnight, it does hold the power to surprise, reward, and inspire anyone who understands its true significance. This little bronze coin proves that value isn't always about wealth. Forth in the vast world of Australian decimal coinage, few small pieces spark curiosity like the 1981 Australian 2-cent coin. At first glance, it looks like an everyday bronze coin you might overlook at the bottom of a drawer. But to collectors, the 1981 issue holds a special kind of electricity. It represents an era when Australia was transitioning into a more modern economic identity while still preserving the classic artistry of its early decimal designs. This coin sits at that crossroads of old and new, making it far more intriguing than its size suggests. The obverse features the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, symbolizing continuity during a period of national evolution. The reverse showcases the beloved frilled neck lizard, an image that defines Australia's wildlife and artistic presence. These two elements, combined in one small bronze circle, reflect the spirit of the nation in the early 1980s. It's not just currency, It's a tiny, artful monument to Australia's cultural identity. Rumors circulate online claiming the 1981 2-cent coin is worth millions and capable of generating instant billionaires. But the truth is different and far more interesting. The coin's real value isn't built on fantasy numbers but on condition, rarity in high grades and specific minting errors. While it won't hand you unimaginable wealth overnight, a flawlessly preserved example can attract strong collector interest and hold impressive value for such a small denomination. Most 1981 coins suffered heavy circulation wear. They were tossed into jars, scraped along sidewalks, and exposed to moisture, heat, and decades of handling. Bright, untouched pieces are incredibly hard to find today. When a near-perfect example appears, with gleaming copper luster, crisp detail, and smooth surfaces, it becomes a standout. These are the coins collectors compete for because they represent survival against all odds. Another compelling reason collectors hunt the 1981 2-cent coin is its place near the end of Australia's bronze coin era. By the 1990s, both the 1-cent and 2-cent coins were withdrawn from circulation. Each passing year makes high-quality examples rarer. Coins are lost, damaged, corroded, or melted, but those few survivors in pristine condition grow more valuable. Rarity doesn't happen overnight. It grows silently, year after year. Then there's the thrill of mint errors, which can elevate the value dramatically. Strikes, clipped planchets, doubled rims, and die cracks are the hidden treasures of numismatics. They turn ordinary coins into unique collectibles with a story behind every flaw. A 1981 2-cent coin with a striking error instantly becomes more desirable, not because of mythical riches, but because of genuine rarity created by a momentary lapse at the mint. Collectors and investors alike appreciate the natural beauty of bronze coins. Over time, copper-based pieces develop unique tones, deep chocolate browns, warm reds, golden hues, even multicolored patinas. The 1981 issue showcases these variations beautifully. A well-toned coin with clean fields and sharp details can easily stand out as a high-demand premium piece in the world of decimal collecting. So if you own a 1981 Australian 2-cent coin, don't underestimate it. Examine it carefully. Look for shine, texture, edge sharpness, and any unusual features. While it may not make you a billionaire overnight, it can be a surprising treasure, one that holds real collector value and historical weight. In the world of coins, sometimes the smallest pieces carry the biggest stories, and the 1981 Australian 2-cent is proof that hidden engaging style and emotional impact. What gives the 1981 Australian 2-cent coin an additional layer of intrigue is the era in which it circulated. The early 1980s were a time of shifting culture, expanding technology, and economic transition across Australia. Every coin minted during this period became part of a national rhythm, trading hands in shops, schools, markets, and workplaces. Today, holding a 1981 piece feels like holding a bronze fragment of that era. It's a reminder of the daily life, the stories, and the countless human moments this tiny coin witnessed. The visual appeal of the 1981 issue is another reason collectors admire it. Bronze coins age in a way no modern alloy can imitate. They develop a warm, natural patina that gives each coin its own personality. Some darken into deep cocoa tones, others glow with red copper fire, and a few develop dual-tone patterns that look almost artistic. When a 1981 coin ages well, with rich color and smooth surfaces, it becomes more than currency. It becomes a miniature piece of antique craftsmanship. Another reason the 1981 2-cent coin continues to attract attention is the rising global interest in discontinued small-denomination coins. Collectors from all over the world, from Europe to Asia to North America, seek out early Australian decimal coins for their collections. This international demand slowly strengthens the market for high-quality pieces. The more people who enter the hobby, the more competition grows for top-grade coins, pushing their value higher with every passing year. There is also a psychological thrill connected to coins like the 1981 issue. Many collectors describe it as a treasure hunter excitement. That feeling when you sift through an old jar of coins and suddenly see one that looks unusually sharp, unusually bright, or unusually detailed. The possibility of discovering a rare error or an almost uncirculated survivor creates a rush that only numismatics can offer. For many, the emotional value of this moment is greater than any selling price. In the end, the 1981 Australian 2-cent coin carries a quiet yet powerful legacy. It represents craftsmanship, history, beauty, and the enduring spirit of everyday Australia. Whether it has a rare error, flawless surfaces, or simply a beautiful aged patina, it stands as a reminder that value isn't just measured in money, it's measured in meaning. For collectors, this coin is more than bronze. It's a symbol of how the smallest objects can hold the biggest stories, and how a single forgotten coin can spark passion, curiosity, and admiration for decades to come.